Y'all, did you see yesterday's episode of Red Table Talk? Becoming one, the union. It was excellent. What could I say? I have to admit, I have my tablet in my hand because my camera only has about 10 minutes of video space right now, so I need to be able to tell the time. But yeah, without any further ado, let's jump right into it because I took notes. I think one thing I really noticed and appreciated from today's program is the idea that I guess I felt affirmed as a single person that a lot of what they were talking about being authentic and knowing what makes you happy and taking time for yourself and all that stuff. I feel like those are all things that I personally am doing while I'm single. And so it's interesting to see that you never escape that work, whether you do it when you're single or you do it when you're married. But I'm jumping the gun. So Jada talks about having a midlife crisis at 40. And she talked about how a lot of the things that Will was doing in their marriage under the facade of trying to keep her happy was really all about his ego. And so she said there was so much inauthenticity, and so many times people are living lives that aren't true because of their fear. Will was building what he wanted for others, and he was hiding behind his egos and dreams and pretending that it was love. But this note of authenticity really struck a chord with me, because I know that with my therapist, we've been talking a lot about being authentic. And I know when she brought that up, like I had done a survey in one of my first meetings with my psychologist, and it came back that I am not acting as authentically as I ought to. And apparently, well, not apparently, but to me that was a shocker, because to me I'm always authentic. Like I keep it 100, not even 100, but 100. But in talking to her and actually really thinking through it, I realized that I do a lot of things not from a place of authenticity and from a place that really resonates with me, but from a place of should and obligation and I ought to, and a place of forcing myself, even though I may have an innate aversion. So it's interesting that she talked about keeping authentic and how that's important, because she said in her marriage, they ended up having, they didn't want to have a marriage that they were just married to two characters or to images. So it was interesting that they talked about going their separate ways to figure out themselves, and how Jada had to figure out how to be an individual so that their characters wouldn't be having a relationship. They also talked about the theme of how love liberates. I think there's a video somewhere on YouTube where Maya Angelou talks about how love sets you free. And so in their marriage, I found it so interesting and so insightful that they just are two people in a life partnership, not even a marriage, but they believe that that partnership allows each person to be who they want to be, and they respect that. What I wrote here? I wrote here that, so I loved when Will said that he retires from the job of making her happy, because he realized, and I think a lot of us realize, that no person can make us happy. And I think especially as a single person, I often have to drive that point home to myself, that being married will not make me happy. Having children will not make me happy. Whether I'm single or married, or no matter my relationship status, I have to figure out what makes me happy so that I can exist more healthfully in the relationships around me. You need to want to be with you. Oftentimes we expect people to love us more than we love ourselves. And we think that oftentimes with our partner, it's his job to make me feel a certain way. So I thought that was really, really wise. That idea of figuring out what works for you and how to be content for yourself. I also thought that it was so, I loved when Will talked about that it's important to understand your partner's plight, and that relationships are built on this sense of understanding, that each partner understands one another and try, as if they don't understand, they seek to understand the life and the burdens of that partner so that that partner doesn't walk through life alone. And it makes me wonder of how many relationships are there where people just feel innately misunderstood. And I think maybe for me, that's why I personally have found it hard to get into relationships with other people, because I feel misunderstood. But that's a topic for another time because I only have like 5 minutes. Yep, 5 minutes. So they talk about how their thing is not a marriage, it's a life partnership, and how there are no deal breakers in their union. That it's about unconditional love. And I guess I'm still at a point in life where I don't believe in unconditional love, because I've never seen anybody love somebody without some sort of subconscious, unspoken condition. But I think definitely if you have a marriage where there aren't any deal breakers, like I'm with you no matter what you do, whether it makes me feel good or not, then yeah, I think you're closer to a step of unconditional love. But in my opinion, I feel like the only person who loves me unconditionally is Jesus. And if I do find somebody with whom I want to get married, or to whom I want to get married, I don't know, maybe this is me being pessimistic, but I don't know if I really believe in the idea of unconditional love. But I like that they strive towards it. I love when Will said that Jada is the best friend he's ever had. They talk about any and everything. They said the rough, the rugged, and the raw. And that there's a love for the truth of who you are, and they release each other from obligations and expectations. So Will really started to make everybody at that table tear up at the end when he said why he's never divorced her is because he's never met anyone like her, and he knew that if it wasn't her, he'd be searching in vain for the rest of his life. And I was just like, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. Oh, for a man who would say that to me. But wow. And then another thing I love is at the end when they're all holding hands, he said to Jada, when I see you at this red table, it is the joy that I always hoped you would have. Slay me. So anyways, my camera's gonna cut me off any moment now. I would love to hear your comments and thoughts below. I'm sorry this was really rushed. I'm tired. I'm having a headache. It's late. I don't have enough space on my phone. But I hope you will tell me what you think about last night's episode. I will actually this time put the link down below. And yeah, let's keep talking about the Red Table Talk together. And also, I'm going to try to wear red in every single video. I'm going to run out of red clothes soon, but I want to try. So yeah, that's going to be my thing. Okay, enough talking. Bye!